What is going on? Welcome back to Jiu-Jitsu Outlet. I'm sitting down with one of the greatest athletes competing in the world right now, Rene Sousa. What is going on, brother? How are you doing?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling out here in some sunshine. Just really excited for the summer to be here. And yeah, just chilling out.
So I want to dive into hearing about the who's next and what that did for you in your life. But before we get into that, man, I want to ask you the same question that we ask everyone who comes on the show. Whether they're a blue belt, someone who just started training, they're an ADCC legend like Robert Drysdale or Aurelio Estema, they're a UFC fighter like James Krause. Like, we've had all sorts of people answer this question. I'd love to hear your take on it. What has jiu-jitsu done for you and your mental health since you started training?
Yeah, so jiu-jitsu for me, I started at like a super young age. Not super young. I guess nowadays kids start at like 2, but I started at like 11. So I kind of grew up with it. And the biggest theme that I would say I didn't see maybe until the past couple years, like it's been 5 years that I graduated from college. And I probably like just realized that like this is what it gave me. But jiu-jitsu just gave me such a focus, like when I'm on the mat, like I just learned to focus, like, and maybe I didn't learn that in the right time to apply it in school, but it really just helped me, like when I'm at jiu-jitsu, like that's all I'm thinking about, and what I think jiu-jitsu is like done for me, like overall, like if you look at like the whole grand scheme of like my life, the biggest thing that it gave to me was the ability to like make people feel good, like when I was thinking about stopping like pursuing my degree to do jiu-jitsu full time, it wasn't because I wanted to be like the best jiu-jitsu competitor in the world or like beat Gordon Ryan or anything. It was straight up because I thought that like there was no other thing I could do in the world that would like greater impact the world other than like teaching jiu-jitsu. Like fight, like literally died tomorrow, God forbid, like I would like what I taught somebody in jiu-jitsu today would have meaning, and like almost like that's a manifestation of like my soul here on earth. Like I don't know, just wanted to like, I was doing stuff with like environmental engineering, so I kind of wanted to like save the world. And then when I just was always doing jiu-jitsu. When I kind of like took a step back, I was like, this is the thing that gives me the most meaning, So I would say it helped me learn how to focus. And then at the same time, I'd say how it helped me like with my mental health is it really helped me like feel a part of a community and feel like I'm like really like impacting people's lives and doing like something good,
Yeah, man, absolutely. I resonate with that so much. And I love what you said about how it's the thing that makes people the happiest that you do. Because if you think about it, that's kind of a profound thing, because really what you're saying is like engaging in these simulated acts of killing somehow brings more happiness to the lives of others, which is kind of a paradox if you think about it. So, man, I'd love to dive into that just a little bit. Like the people that you've taught or the people that you've trained with, what has it done for their mental health? Like the people that maybe you've helped come up from a really young time when they first started training, and like, what has that progression been like in the students you've had?
Yeah, like I've been teaching jiu-jitsu the whole time that I've been training. So for me, I've had like a lot of students that I've been able to see them grow throughout the years, and it's been really cool. And I don't know, I think what it really gives people is it just gives people like a space just to like let things be, like your whole day of like work and family and all this stuff. You have all these different things pulling you in all these different directions. Then you get to jiu-jitsu and it literally demands you to be present. It demands you to be cognizant of your body, demands you to be cognizant of other people's body. And then at other levels, there's like, demands you to be like caring too, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're just ripping on somebody, like that might be a bad day that you're just, so like it helps you really be at like this really like true balance point, and I've really seen a lot of like students grow, and I don't know, for me, like that's the biggest thing that I would say, like back in the day, is I would say that like if this just helps one person, like literally like one person this helps, like then that my whole like life's work is worth it, because I helped one person, like even if it's just for one more day, and I think that kind of like came up with me, like my mom really instilled that in me. She was always just like, Rene, like one smile can change somebody's whole day, it sounds so stupid, but it's just like I always thought about it like that, so then when people were having these just like crazy days at whatever, work or family or whatever, I don't know, I've just really enjoyed me being the person that they like kind of put that attention away, and they're just like, this is my like little place that I go to like escape from all these things, you know. And what I like is that not only does jiu-jitsu show them to like, yeah, they can escape and they can just be a jiu-jitsu for a little bit, but things that they will learn in jiu-jitsu can also be things that they will apply to life, you know. And like, I know nowadays a lot of people are like either like full sport jiu-jitsu or full like self-defense jiu-jitsu, and with the self-defense people like the philosophy, and with the like sports jiu-jitsu people are just like, yo, shut up, just train, you know. But I don't know, man. I'm OG. Like, I still really like, I think a lot of like concepts of like jiu-jitsu like really relate to life. So like I not that I'm like sitting there after class like giving a freaking 35-minute lecture, but I like to show people that like the different concept, and not like show them in real life, but like I just mean like talk about it and just be like, hey, like this can relate to life, you know. Same kind of situations that you're applying in butterfly guard. If the problem's here and you can't sweep them, then you have to go under them, you have to go around them, you know, like just little things like that, you know.
I'd love to dive into that a little bit more. Like, what are some of those lessons that you feel like it really has in common with life? This is something we talk about on the show a lot, actually. So I'd love to get your take on this. Like, what did jiu-jitsu? What are some allegories we can draw between jiu-jitsu and the rest of life?
I would say like one of the first ones is just like not doing like sort of like what you want in a certain situation, but doing what you need to do. So like, for example, the other day I was teaching people about butterfly guard, and I was like, everyone was trying to sweep their partner, but they couldn't because their partner was like sitting back a little bit too much. So then I just was trying to get them to like learn how to like properly elevate, properly like off balance, and do all these different things. And I think that's the same thing in like life. Like sometimes like you're trying to jump over a hurdle or something, and it's just not the time for you to jump over that hurdle. You kind of have to just like be patient and like let things play itself out, you know. And I don't know, that I guess that's kind of like the most basic one, but there's always something to do in that time of like patience, you know. So like in like when I was not training in 10th Planet, but I was training like Gracie self-defense, that was always something to keep in mind, you know. It's like, maybe you're being patient, but it's not like you're totally relaxing. Like, you're ready for the next move. You know what the next move is, and you're kind of like putting yourself in that direction, and just kind of like ready to respond. So that's one I would say that I have like a good vibe on, like especially when I'm competing, because I'll like sort of like just be patient until my opponent makes like one mistake, and then I'll just be right on top of them, you know. So I know that one's kind of boring, but that's the first one that pops in my head when I think of like, you know, like different like direct thing that you could learn in jiu-jitsu. Like, you go to sweep the person the first time, like maybe it might not work. So you kind of have to like learn how to like create like these different dilemmas, make your partner kind of like start reacting to you, and then like not just when you want it, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when I started competing, especially at a high level, it's just like highlight reel, submit them as soon as possible, and get out of there, you know? But recently I've been really doing a better job at just like really like calming myself down when I get in there, just feeling my body, and then just trusting the connections that I do in training, and hopefully those will transpire into the flow of the match, you know?
Yeah, and I know you said that was like a boring one, but I disagree. I think that that's very important, what you just said. It's like a foundational principle, basically, of resiliency, which is like, when something doesn't work out in one direction, you got to pivot and change. You got to change it up. Sometimes you have to make a attack for them to go in a certain way, and then you take advantage of how they react. So there's multiple different layers here that are going on. Sometimes you can almost set up a feint or something where it's almost like you could pretend like you're going in one direction and then get a reaction and go another way. But it's all about getting creative, and like you said, being patient and waiting for that setup, waiting for that alternate, that thing to happen. So like, I love what you said, man, because like, think about that in terms of starting a business or something like that. You know, if you're trying to get something done in your new business or something like that, it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult in the beginning. And a lot of times you might be like trying to make something happen, and it's just not the time yet because you don't have enough clout, or you don't have enough momentum, or you don't have enough whatever. But that doesn't mean that you get to just quit. You have to pivot. You have to set something else up, and you have to figure out how to go in a different direction. I feel like that's what you're saying. It's like jiu-jitsu really trains you on
and I think I think jiu-jitsu gives you the vibe though of like you're practicing that without practicing that, you know, like you're practicing moves, and then like I think the goal is I don't know, I mean, yeah, I'm not a master at all, but like I feel like the goal is like to get into this like realm in your brain where it's like all like abstract, you know, you can all like think about things abstractly, and you can kind of like, you have to see the techniques not as just techniques, but like as like I don't know, it's just so much more than just a physical movement, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so much more than that. And I don't know, I feel like there's like different layers that you can like peel upon that, you know?
Yeah, I think it's an art form, and it doesn't get discussed enough. Like we talk so much about the effectiveness in competition or on the streets or stuff like that, but we forget about the art. And I think that's kind of what you're getting at. Like there's a deeper layer here. You know, there's a deeper level going on.
Yeah, for sure.
So I wanted to ask you this. We were speaking a little bit before the interview about when you went on Who's Next, and what happened about a year ago is you got locked in a house with a bunch of other jiu-jitsu athletes, and you guys were all competing against each other for a spot. Who's number one? And that they made like a little reality show around it. And I watched it. A lot of other people in the jiu-jitsu community watched it. I know I sent it to all my friends, and I thought it was dope. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I want to see more of that stuff because I think it's going to grow the sport. I think it's going to help get athletes to the next level. But I just want to hear from you, man. Like, what was that experience like? And what was that experience like for you from like a mental health perspective? I guess a bigger question is, like, as you kind of gain clout and you've gained more popularity in the scene and you've competed at a higher level, like, what has that journey been like for you? What has that done for your mental health and kind of your internal journey?
Yeah, so I mean, you know what's so funny about it is that none of us, maybe some of us knew because some of us had better connections at Flow, but to me, like, I literally had no idea what was going on. Like, I had zero idea like what the show was gonna be or like who was going to be on it. Like, I'd heard it was going to be an 8-man bracket of 185, sub only, no time limit, but then the winner got to fight Ty Rotullo. Like, and then when I showed up and I saw Big Dan, I was like, dude, this is not the contract I signed. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is insane. Like, what? So then, yeah, like really quickly, like once we showed up in Austin, I had a feeling it was going to be a big deal, but I like, as soon as we got in Austin, I like really realized it was a big deal. Like, we got to the hotel, there was like a bunch of like, not just like one of the Flow guys with a camera, like a camera crew, like there, you know. Once we started to get those vibes, we were like, all right, this is kind of a big deal. So then that was kind of like maybe like a little stressful, but you know, it's like, it is what it is. It's like competition, so we just have to scrap. And then obviously first round, right? Buggy choke the world. I got a buggy choke. That was sick. That changed my whole life, you know, like that one moment. And you know, I don't know, like I said it in the show, but like that made everything out. Like if I swear, I could lose my match this weekend. I could lose ADCC trials. That match, it just made everything worth it. You know, if I like lose for the next 3 years straight, you got it here. You heard it from me first. It's going to take 3 years of full losing every match. Then I'll retire. But at a freaking like young 29. But yeah, that was like, in terms of like, it just made everything feel like it was worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't even make, I mean, I guess I got paid for it, but I didn't even like make good money off of it or anything like that. It was just a moment of like, wow, I made it to this level, you know? And just being there in the first place, I felt great. But then, yeah, like beating J-Rod was insane. Because that was before ADCC trials, so I still knew he was a stud, but I didn't know he was like as much of a stud. So then when I lost the ADCC trials and I went on to go watch him win the whole thing with a buggy choke, I was like, dude, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, for mental health, it was great, man, because it just showed me that everything I've ever put in was worth it, you know? So like no other feeling, you know, can kind of like amount to that. I think I've really changed. It changed the whole course of my life too. Like I was in a comfortable job that I could have still been in. I could be in for the next 20 years. And yeah, it just made me feel like every day all we had to do is jiu-jitsu and interviews and stuff like that. So I was just like, dude, this is what I want to do, you know? Like it was just, you know, like when you're home, like today I had a podcast at 9 and then I drove to PT, and then I drove to strength training, and then I drove home. I had lunch, brought my dog for a walk. Like the hustle of life, there was no hustle because we were just at the house chilling, would train, would go do it. I mean, we were hustling a lot, but like it was just like my baseline of like my energy was so chill. I was like, this is going to be my highest good. Like, you know, like just focusing on, at least for the next couple of years, you know, focusing on me being the best version of myself, and then putting that onto the competition mats, you know. So what that did for me is that was not this last November, but last November. Like that's when it was filmed. Like it dropped last May, but it was filmed 2021 November. So yeah, man, I came back and I really couldn't work anymore. Like it was so stupid, but it was like, I was like, man, like, not that I was going to be famous, but I was like, all right, I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to just try to do this full-time thing. And I know I'm going to have to make some changes, but, I'm going to go for it, you know? And, you know, it hasn't even been a year of me doing jiu-jitsu full-time. So it's going to be a year in like 3 weeks in June. So I'm really excited for like that full year. There's been so many things I've learned in the whole year, you know, but yeah, I came back, man, and I just felt so happy. And even though I didn't win, you know, I thought I represented myself and my team pretty well. And then yeah, I've been just trying to like live the lifestyle of that, and like even just like little things, you know, like just focusing on I just feel like there's no other time that I'm going to get to focus on myself. I decide to have a family, whatever, all the, you know what I'm saying, typical stuff. But like even little things, like I get to wake up in the morning, I get to come outside, have a nice backyard here in like North Jersey where I live. Me and my dog walk outside, I hit my little prayer, try my little meditation, do some cold water stuff, and then I just kind of get on with my day, you know. And like I just know that that's not going to be my life forever, you know. So in like really like squeezing all the juice out of the lemon, like I just want to like see how far I can go. And you know, I want to share that with people, because I am not an athlete at all, you know, like I'm not like, maybe I move a little fancy sometimes, but I'm not like strong or athletic, you know, like typical like wrestler kind of thing. So like, I don't know, I just, this journey's been super crazy, and like the recent part of it, like making it on Who's Next and then like following it up, I just want to push myself as far as I can go, like with competition, with being happy still, you know, obviously like it's not going to make sense if I'm, you know, depressed and sad or any of these things, but I truly like love training all the time. I love like solving all these different puzzles. I love like, I mean, I don't love learning about different rule sets. I love like sub only, you know, I like figuring it out. ADCC is cool just because it's got the most hype, but sub only is just, I don't know, it's kind of what I like. It's just like, just submit the person, however, whatever it takes, you know, whatever rule set it may be, you know. Yeah, like it definitely like helped my mental health overall. Like I said, like I had that like wow like moment, like that everything was worth it. And then since then it's only brought better, you know. Maybe there's some like financial worries sometimes, but just the freedom of like me being myself and me doing my thing, be able to like travel and just really like express myself, like that's the biggest thing that I'm like super thankful to, like everyone at Flo, Craig, you know, everyone that like really helped me out and still does, you know. Like I competed on Who's Number One this year, so you know, I didn't win the tournament and like get the contract and the money, but thankfully like I put on a good show and they like me, and I've been doing good otherwise, so you know, been invited back and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, and you were one of my favorite people to watch on that show, just because I really like your style. I could tell you have a good personality, and I don't know, I could tell that we would be friends. So I'm glad that we could connect you on this podcast. But dude, I want to ask you about this. Like, I can tell that you're there's more to you than meets the eye. Like you're secretly a spiritual dude, you know, is what it sounds like. And I am too. Secretly not so.
Oh, not secret. No way, bro. No way secret. No way secret. Dude, never a secret. Hearts on my sleeve, you know, like, yeah, for sure.
How do you feel like
what aspect do you think?
Spiritual practice.
Dang, that's sending it, bro. Fuck. How is jiu-jitsu spiritual practice? I think jiu-jitsu is just like, it's just different, you know. It's not like any other form of like working out or anything like that. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like a form of spirituality. I would just say it needs, like, I don't know. I guess it's kind of not true, because there's people like, not hating on Gordon Ryan, but like there's people like Gordon Ryan. Like Gordon Ryan definitely doesn't like believe in God or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like pray, or I don't know. Maybe I don't know him well enough, but like, I don't know. I just feel like what jiu-jitsu does is, not only does it help you like overcome yourself, sort of like, you know, people that listen to the Bible, like Jesus kind of showed, you know, like that you can overcome yourself. And sinning, you know, maybe compare. I mean, I'm not trying to get so crazy into it, but like sinning versus like sinning versus like messing up in jiu-jitsu, and like having like errors, you know, you can always be better. So like that's an aspect that like I kind of like look at it like same thing as like religion or like spirituality. But then the other aspect is just like just just like really overcoming like things with people too. So I think like that's something that maybe we kind of get from like a team bonding kind of way, from like different sports. But I think there's just something different than jiu-jitsu that I would kind of compare almost to like wrestling in a way, where it like physically breaks you down so much that it creates this opportunity, if you would like it, to like open you up, open your ego up, to be vulnerable, you know, and to look at like, oh, maybe you're like so freaking annoying in life, and it's the same thing in jiu-jitsu. Like you just spaz out, and then you're not learning anything, and then you can't even do 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes people are like, dude, I could barely do 3 rounds. I'm like, dude, you're the person that's pushing the gas pedal. Like okay, another just segue back into one of the themes to think about is like is efficiency. That's like one of the biggest ones that I always talk about. And I would consider myself decently strong, definitely not the strongest in my weight class, and to have good cardio. But I would say efficiency is one of the most under like utilized themes in jiu-jitsu. You know, like learning how to be efficient is so huge, because you just like practice how to like not totally like just always like going back to like Gracie self-defense, like always having a little bit in the tank ready for like the worst case scenario, you know. But wow, man, spirituality of jiu-jitsu. I literally like had an opportunity one time to teach a couple day like seminar to people that don't even know jiu-jitsu, and we were gonna me and Ben Eddy were gonna do it, and we were gonna do it at the like a place up here, like there's a bunch of like visionary art and stuff, and we were gonna call it the spirituality of jiu-jitsu. But I haven't like really like stopped and like set like, you know, time aside to like really look at it like that, because it's crazy, you know, like that's like one aspect of it that's like when I'm like traveling and get to connect with people, like I really get to like connect with. But guess what, it's just such a yin and yang, you know, because then on the day to day here, it's not like mindless, but I like wake up, I lift, I go to training, I come home, I chill, I go back to training, you know, like it's this like shut up and just hard work kind of aspect of it, you know, where it's not really like opening up and like, you know, doing all these like more like like I don't know, because I think it's more of like a self journey, like in like focusing on getting to the next level, like athlete wise, you know. So that's like a balance that I've been like struggling with recently, like just like not making everything about myself all the time, like trying to be more, you know, with the community and stuff like that, just because I feel like it's really important part of the journey. But man, I'm gonna have to get back to you on spirituality of jiu-jitsu. That's a deep one.
I know it's a deep one. I think philosophers have been talking about this kind of stuff for a long time. I actually learned that Plato set up his school of philosophy at the wrestling academy because he was a wrestler and he wanted to attract people who were disciplined into his school of philosophy. And he went to the wrestling academy, and that's where he set up his thing. But I've thought a lot about that, how like a lot of the guys that you meet at jiu-jitsu are amateur philosophers a lot of times. Like a lot of us have, you know, a lot of pretty profound views about life, and a lot of us, and you see it a lot of times, it more so in like MMA or boxing, where there's a lot of folks who are very religious. But you see that in jiu-jitsu too, like folks who are very religious or very spiritual one way or another. I think it almost attracts someone who wants to secretly be like a monk or something. Like there's no real place here in the United States, for example, to go be like a Buddhist monk. It doesn't really fit into our society. But jiu-jitsu teacher is kind of along those same lines, kind of what you're talking about. It's a very monk-like lifestyle, honestly, like going to training, going to lifting. You got to eat the right food. You got to get enough sleep. You got to take care of your body. Like that discipline is, in a lot of religions, that's kind of what they tell their new initiates, so to speak, is that you have to subject yourself to this life of discipline. Like if that's kind of what's associated with becoming a Shaolin monk, for example, you know, at the highest levels of that, you know, like you got to be a disciplined motherfucker for sure. But dude, like, how does that feel? Do you ever feel like that? Do you feel like you're a monk or something like that?
Yeah, no, I was gonna kind of say that, like, I feel like that's my, like, I don't think, I would say, like, it's a good thing that maybe, like, that topic we could talk about for an hour, but I would say the tool for me is, like, stoicism. Like, I have a stoic journal I journal in, like, almost every day. Just writing some thoughts down all the time helps, you know, just, like, aligning some different plans, like, not only journal, but, like, having, like, a whiteboard to, like, kind of look at stuff at, just praying, like, getting into the Bible and stuff, meditating, and working with some, like, Taoism. So, like, biggest things I will follow is, like, definitely the Bible, but then also, like, stoicism and, like, Taoism and stuff. So it's like it's pretty crazy, pretty, like, different balance of things across the board. But I would say that practicing those things allows me to be in this, like, Zen kind of, like, mind frame. So, like, before a match, or even when I'm training, like today, tough training before a big match this weekend, and, like, the other day I went in and my mind was just racing on everything, you know, and I had, like, not horrible training, but just, like, not to what I wanted it to be. So then today it's like, not how can I train better there, like how can I set myself up beforehand, you know, to, like, really, like, let go of certain things, so when I get there it's just, like, mindless, you know, like, not thinking, like, just no thoughts, just flow, you know, like, total, like I call it, like, slow with the go, like, not going with the flow, but, like, having the balance of, like, your brain, you know what I'm saying, like, telling you where you're going, but then also listening to your body. So not just listening to your body and forgetting about your brain. So it's like this autopilot kind of thing, you know, like Hickson Gracie talks about it in Choke a little bit. To me, I always, like, read one quote before I go out and compete. It says, it's Lao Tzu, and it says, give everything you can, hold nothing back, and watch the walls of self crumble. So, like, give everything you can, right? Try as hard as you can. Hold nothing back, right? Like, there's no other place. It's only right now, you know? And watch the walls. Like, every time I hear the walls of self crumble, like, right before I'm about to go out, like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know how other people do it or whatever. Like, some people, like, get out there, like, yeah, I'm the fucking man, like, sick, so cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I think about. Like, I get out there and I literally want it to be me, my opponent, literally, like, I'm not tripping, I swear, straight. Like, me and my opponent in, like, a white room, and it's just me and my, like, that's the level of focus that I want to get to, you know, where it's just, and I just feel, like, totally connected to my body. I feel, like, ready to go, and yeah, I just don't feel like anything's holding me back, and that's something that I've tried to cultivate, and I really think it's, like, something that I think a lot of people that I beat are better than me, you know, but I'm just, like, just able to be present in those moments sometimes, you know, and that definitely helps. Like, it's just, like, it's an extra thing that you can add to your toolbox, you know, that costs, like, literally nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know, being aware of how you feel emotionally, but then also, like, just being able to, like, let everything go, be present, and just focus on the now, you know?
I love it, man. And you're hitting on some really big stuff. Like, there's so many similarities between Zen philosophy and the martial arts. I mean, that's really kind of what you're speaking about here, is that same meditative ability that you might get from breaking a Zen garden or something like that. Like, that same stillness, I think, is what you're like. There's a stillness that comes from those deep states of meditation and from the Zen movement. And it's almost like your body gets into this state. And this is going, like, we do have to wrap this up, but this is going off in outer space, but especially as AI comes in and starts to replace more jobs. Like as soon as we have more of an economy where we don't have to work as much, Zen is really going to be all that we have. Like those sort of practices that put us into that Zen state, that's going to be the goal, really. I mean, I think it's always been the goal, but we'll have so much more time to pursue stuff like that because we won't be working as hard. So, dude, on that note, we do got to wrap this up. I know you got a new something that you're working on, right? That you said that you wanted to talk about. So I wanted to just turn it over to you, man. What are you working on these days?
Yeah, sick. So I forget what I wrote that I'm working on, but I just dropped my like website and my shop. So we just got Buggy Choke the World. It's not this logo. This is the 1.0. This is me buggy choking that guy from Who's Next, Adam Bradley, at ADCC trials. And literally, I'm shushing Ty Rotula. Like, as I'm buggy choking him, he's doing the right defense. I'm shushing Ty Rotula. I'm like, yo, from one buggy choke or another, shut up. Let me finish this buggy choke, you know? But then the one on the rash guard is, like, the updated logo that, like, looks really... Like, this one, everyone likes this one because it's, like, this... But the other one looks really fresh. My friend from Armbar Club designed it for me. It's on my website or my shop. It's just, like, Rene, RENESOUSA .shop, or just RENESOUSA.com, and then on Instagram just the same. But yeah, I just dropped those, and then I have like a bunch of different instructionals out. I just got a really cool one out on, it's called like Athletes Ocean. Jason Nolf and Gino Morelli are some cool guys from Penn State that helped me out get a connection there. But I also have my Jiu-Jitsu X out. I have BJJ Fanatics out, all focusing on buggy chokes. But the one from Athletes Ocean has a little bit of everything. But yeah, man, really appreciate your time, and really enjoyed the concepts and everything like that, and I had a good conversation.
Dude, I'm glad to hear it. So, hey, if you're listening to this, I'll put all the links to connect with Rene down below, so you can check out his instructionals, you can check out Buggy Choke the World, and dude, we'll have to get you back on sometime in the future and hear how you're doing, and maybe we just go deep on the spiritual side of things. But dude, it's great talking to you, man, and you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, man, thank you so much.